The host of the Midnight Sports Center and Emmy nominated and deserving of every last word I just said. He is Scott Van Pelt, calling in from the grounds at Augusta National. How are you, Scott?
I'm calling in from the grounds of Augusta National, so everything is just right.
I bet.
It's about 80, no humidity. The sun is out. This is my favorite day of the year, the par 3 contest in the afternoon, little preview show, and then you tee it up on Thursday. I'm really good.
I bet. And do you practice the golf voice throughout the year? Because to get it ready, or does it just come naturally for you when you broadcast from there?
I try to be myself. I try not to change, but I think I do less rap references this week. I find I don't slip into DMX. I mean, which would actually be great, but no, right. I mean it's not. I think there's this level of calm that you're just this place. It makes you feel a certain way, but Mike Tirico and I talked about this, and when we first got the Masters, and Mike was our host, I think it got in everyone's heads like we were supposed to be different, and no one here is telling you to be different.
Right?
You know, it's just all you have to do is be yourself. So I mean, people will joke around me and say, "Oh, there's Masters Van Pelt and there's Sports Center Van Pelt," and I think, okay, well, maybe that's accurate. It's just a different vibe. But I try my best to be myself.
No. Well, I do too at the Combine, but when it's quiet out in Lucas Oil, and you can hear the buzz of the lights as somebody gets onto the 40-yard dash line, I just kind of get into the moment. Not to say that Augusta National and Lucas Oil have much in common, except I guess
the 40 in Lucas Oil and the first tee at Augusta are very similar in many ways.
Well, you should see the way that they bring back the legends of the 40-yard dash to run the first 40-yard dash ceremonially. I mean, it's fantastic,
God,
Scott.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, we should start covering that more on the NFL Network.
There you go.
And interesting that just to continue this analogy. The par 3 contest that's on ESPN at 3 Eastern time, getting the coverage that it gets now more and more every year. It's kind of like the jacket ceremony at the Hall of Fame, where it's like this hidden gem that's been played over and over and over again that now gets the national coverage that it deserves, and people are just love watching it and love being there. That's what it feels like to me.
That's an analogy that is absolutely spot on, and I totally agree with. It's the type of thing that people just crave the access to those moments, right? And the par 3 contest is that. And what's interesting to me, Rich, is so there's 4 majors a year, so you got 16 rounds, and they're the most important 16 rounds of the year that's played. And we in the media certainly turn them into more than just a round of golf, which the players sort of giggle at and say, it's still just golf. Yet the stakes are high. It's understood. There's going to be stress. There's going to be tension. And the day before it, you're out there running around maybe with your kids and the caddy whites, and it couldn't be less stressful. It's a perfect afternoon, and it's a great way to diffuse a little of that stress before you start sharpening up your pencil and adding it up for real.
Scott Van Pelt here on the Rich Eisen Show. So how does one handicap the favorites coming in? How they've played over the last few weeks, the week before, or just they've never won it before and it's time in your estimation? I mean, how does one figure out who the favorite to win the Masters is, Scott?
I think, Rich, it's the most difficult tournament of the year to handicap for exactly what the question that you're asking. Because let's say you're Rory McIlroy or you're Justin Rose and you've never won here. But if you're Rory, you finished in the top 10 the last 5 times you've played here. If you're Justin Rose, you've been runner-up twice in the last 4 years. I would say having played well here in the past is more important than having played well recently. But if you're Rory and you've played well here recently and you've won recently, then that puts you in a different category. And of the players in the top 10 in the world, I believe 9 have won this season. So you've got that on your side. But then you got a guy like Tiger who, he hasn't won this year, but he's won here 4 times. So I think that what I'm getting to is that what we create is a lengthy list of players, most of whom are really decorated or highly rated, who you think, well, sure, he could win. I mean, I joked with Andy yesterday. We were on the air here for hours doing the press conferences, and I said, I think, Andy, you pretty much, you're like Vital in the tournament. I think you've predicted 12 people are going to win. And by rule, there will be one green jacket on Sunday. So I find it incredibly difficult to narrow down the focus to just a couple, whereas there's at least a handful to 10 guys that you think, oh, absolutely, it could be his time.
And then when you hear the phrase, this is my favorite golf phrase, course is set up perfectly for this person, you know, and that's kind of like the pound for pound in boxing.
Right.
You know, you gotta figure out what does that mean. So what does that mean for the Masters? Who does this course set up well for?
A long list, because there are very few people that it discounts is the issue. Like, I mean, Dustin Johnson hasn't played great here, and he's now number 2 in the world, but you'd think he's got the game. He can hit it a mile, hits it a mile in the air, can get streaky with the putter, but he likes to cut the ball, and it's more right to left than it is left to right if you're right-handed. So that doesn't discount him. But like a player, again, Justin Rose says, this golf course just absolutely suits my eye. And you look at like the Texas Tech-Virginia game the other night. Either team could have won at the end. It would have felt like an appropriate outcome, like the right team won. Well, Rose could have easily won here 2 years ago, but he lost in a playoff to Sergio. So he's on that very, very short list of, you know, horses for courses when it comes to the Masters. Rose, I mean, rightfully will be on the list of everyone that will say, oh, he could/should win eventually. But this course had a long list of those guys, Rich. Norman was supposed to win. Weiskopf was supposed to win. Duval was supposed to win.
Right.
Els was supposed to win. They never did. So when your moment's here, man, you better grab it.
What's the weather look like for the tournament?
Not great.
Oh.
It's perfect right now. I mean, again, today's the day you dream of. I love that it's here for Wednesday because I love Wednesday. But
Sure.
outside of Thursday, which looks pretty good, every day has that ugly little lightning bolt in the weather forecast, which that's the one thing that stops play. And so I would imagine that from Thursday through Sunday, we'll probably have a little bit of fits and starts. You play a bit, maybe you have to sit for a bit. I'm afraid weather will impact it. So all you can do is cross your fingers and see what happens.
So then your tap dance routine, literal tap dance, soft shoe routine in Butler Cabin, is that where we're going to have fill the rain delay time? Scott, you got something planned?
I've got some spectacular Tom Fords. I don't want to name drop on you, but I mean, if need be, I mean, I could give you a little soft shoe in these, but I really hesitate to scuff these up.
Okay.
I'm going to try to send them back because they were rather pricey.
What is the coolest item in Butler Cabin? What is when you're sitting in there and you're looking around? Like, what is like, okay, that one, if I could get away with it, I would take.
No, honest, that's the amazing thing. It is. I mean, if I say Spartan, then that makes it sound like it's not nice. It's nice. It's just there's not a great deal in it. I think they move most of the stuff that is in there out to accommodate for television. So there's really just a few chairs and some monitors, and it's not like there are little trinkets and things of that nature.
No kidding.
I've joked that for years the coolest thing is when you get to have a bite in the grill, and the plates are they're these beautiful pieces of, not china, but it's flatware, I guess you'd say, and it's got the logo on it. And I joked with the guys because I've gotten to know the folks in there. I said, you know, I'm gonna take one of these, and they're like, I hope you enjoyed your time at Augusta. You know?
One plate is equal to banishment? One plate?
You could no. They're kidding, I think, but I'm convinced Rich, that if I tried to take it out the door, that there'd be somebody in a security in a Pinkerton's outfit that would very quietly grab my arm and say, "Mr. Van Pelt, can you come with us?" And then they'd walk me out to the gates to Washington Road, and that'd be the end.
That'd be it.
I'm not lifting anything, man. I'm just happy they let me park my keister in one of those chairs for a couple of days, and I don't want to get taken out on a B&E.
There's no Biff Loman and Scott Van Pelt. Hey, before I let you go, I do want to have you chime in on Magic Johnson and what happened here in Los Angeles last night. It truly is, in the quarter century that I've been fortunate enough to cover national sports, top 5 most bizarre scenario, as I said to open the show today. All-time great player, certainly all-time great player for the franchise, quits franchise, doesn't tell boss, tells media, and walks out of the arena after an hour's worth of bizarre back and forth and soul pouring out to the media, Scott. What are your 2 cents on it?
Because he wants to tweet and say nice stuff about other guys. I was at a function, and a guy pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, Magic Johnson just quit." Now, it was late in the evening, and I thought, okay, well, you've just had a bottle of wine.
That's right.
What you've done, and you're telling me nonsense. And then, of course, you do what you do in 2019. I go on Twitter, and I look at Woj's timeline, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Right.
Like, and then I come home, and I'm trying to construct back, like, is this as odd as it seems? And it isn't. It's odder than it seems. I don't know what to make of it. Look, you know what we traffic in at ESPN. You've lived a life. I mean, the Lakers are a storyline all year, and then it goes wrong. But then to have this happen with their most iconic player, not an iconic player, their most iconic player, basically tap out. Maybe it has something to do with Luke Walton. Maybe it has something to do with when you tweet. I don't know. Like, it's just a year ago, not quite a year ago, in July of last year, Rich, when we were all, panting over LeBron to L.A. and what it might mean, none of us thought this was it. I've seen theories that Magic knows no free agents are coming this summer, and he just wants to punt before that happens. I don't know if that's the case, but I mean, it's just a stunning and incredibly bizarre way for him to just literally tap out. I'm out. And there he goes. I mean, I can't put 2 and 2 together here.
I think it's just truly he just couldn't cut it. And it's tough to say that about one of the most popular and beloved sports figures. Just couldn't cut it. And maybe that does the Lakers a favor to give them, I guess, 3 months to put something together in time for free agency that has a resemblance of, and I can't believe I'm about to finish this sentence, a resemblance of competency so they could bring people to L.A. over the Clippers.
Maybe.
That's
but
crazy.
You're exactly. Look, the Clippers from what I've been told, are a much more attractive destination to most of the high end players. But you know what, Rich? The part about not cutting it. I mean, you're not a good broadcaster. You're a great broadcaster.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You're a great host. But does that mean that you could slap on a headset and go produce? Probably not. Maybe, but I shouldn't say probably not. Maybe not. Maybe you'd go sit down in a chair and you couldn't back time a show and you couldn't figure out how to stack the A's and the B's. And this is real inside the media. But what I'm saying is just it doesn't mean that he could figure out what that entails. And maybe for Magic, he just didn't. Look, he's got incredible business acumen and success that has nothing to do with this. Maybe he's just like, man, I don't want to do this. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a better way to exit the stage than that.
Scott, really appreciate the time. Enjoy the day and enjoy the Masters and enjoy everything else. We'll chat with you down the line.
I look forward to it, Rich. Thanks for having me in, man. Be well.
You bet. You're the man. That's Scott Van Pelt at NotTheFakeSVP on Twitter.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.